what's up guys, Benny here, and this Call of Duty Warzone video is going to help improve your aim. Now, there's a lot that makes a good Warzone player. Movement, reactions, split-second decision making, but at the end of the day, you can be the best player in the world at all of that, but if you're not landing your shots and taking down your enemies quickly, you're not going to win games of Warzone. You're going to be getting kicked back to the lobby over and over again, or sat watching your friends play, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to give you 7 things that you can do right now to help improve your aim, as well as why you want to be doing it to help you get better at Warzone. Also, 70% of you watching this are not subscribed to the channel, so hit that button. I'll really appreciate it and promise you'll get better at the game. I'm not going to let you down. Now, at this stage of the game, everyone is trying to squeeze every little advantage they can with everything that's available to them. And one of the things that's come about more recently that's definitely worth spending the time to get is the blue dot for your holographic sight. Now, you're probably thinking, what kind of benefit is something as small as a reticle change going to make to my aim and my gameplay? Well, the importance of it is it's going to make your sight far clearer with no unneeded details obscuring your view of the enemy. This becomes more important in those medium to long range gunfights, and also when you're trying to make those small adjustments to land headshots to maximize your time to kill, as you'll be able to clearly see the enemy moving whilst in ADS at almost all ranges, so you can be more precise with your aim, and this is something that you should not take for granted. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it can be a bit of a pain to unlock if you've not got the multiplayer, but you just have to get 200 kills with each of the holographic sights available and then 50 headshots. Now, if you can, play Shipment, but if you don't own the full version of Modern Warfare, play the limited time modes like Kingslayer Trios, and then using the FAL is also a great weapon choice to get those headshots because of that headshot multiplier with its one-shot kill headshot potential up to 19 meters. But if you can, spend the time to get the blue dot and then remember to add it to your loadouts. You won't regret it as it will help you improve your aim and situational awareness in Warzone as it's genuinely the best reticle available to you. And it's just going to help you have the best aim possible. Next, one of the most important factors when it comes to improving your aim in Warzone is your sensitivity. You may have noticed my sensitivity has been all over the place recently as I've been testing high sensitivities with a high ADS sensitivity modifier, and I've also been trying lower sensitivities to see what allows me to win more gunfights and be more accurate consistently. And the results were clear and obvious. Having a high sensitivity stops you from being able to control tight recoil patterns at medium to long range distance, as it's hard to make the micro adjustments that you need to keep your bullet spread tight when firing full auto. And yes, I know there will be a few people who say they can manage it totally fine, but to be honest, it's practically impossible to do it consistently. That's why a lot of the game's top players that are winning tens of thousands of dollars in prize money and wages use lower sensitivities because they find themselves winning a lot more of their gunfights. So because of that, I've gone ahead and dropped my sensitivity down to a 4.4 with a 0.7 modifier. Now, I won't be able to react as quickly if someone starts shooting me from behind, but I rely on my game sense and knowledge to make sure that I read the game as well as I can to make sure that doesn't happen that often. But because of that change, I've noticed that I'm able to beam an opponent at long ranges far quicker, and my accuracy and aim has improved a lot. So please go ahead and try a lower sensitivity if you're using a controller. It'll feel slow and odd at first, but when you're firing a Kilo or an M4, for example, at medium range, you'll be shocked at how much easier you find it to control the recoil compared to when using a higher sensitivity. You're just going to be far more accurate. Now, my next tip to help improve your aim in Warzone is it's important to learn the recoil behavior of the weapon that you're using, because this will affect the small adjustments that you make when shooting, especially at medium range. Now, most assault rifles in Warzone tend to kick up and to the right, so if that's the case, you want to be pulling slightly back on the thumbstick and going to the left to counter that recoil, and try to keep your bullet spread as tight to the center as you can. This obviously requires practice, but if you haven't, go and shoot your gun against the wall and just check to see the recoil pattern with your particular weapon build. And then you'll see exactly what you need to do in order to counter that recoil. And because you know that, you'll instantly see an improvement in your accuracy. The gun will behave pretty much exactly the same every single time, and it's why when you watch top players play, it almost looks like they have no recoil to their gun, because they use the same guns over and over again to know exactly, without even having to think about it, how to control that recoil so they can land all their shots and have the best aim possible. But something you can also do to help guarantee landing your shots if you don't feel confident at going full auto is to quite simply burst fire. If I'm trying to finish someone off at a distance, for example, that I know is super weak, sometimes I'll just burst fire to give myself a higher percentage chance of landing my shots. This, of course, depends on the weapon that you're using, because if you're using something like a Growl or a Kilo that just doesn't really have any recoil to it, you can just hold down the trigger and go full auto all the time. And if you're not sure what weapons you should be using and what class setups and loadouts that you should have, definitely check out my other videos, as they'll also help you. Having a good loadout is one of the biggest factors to doing well in Warzone, and the better guns you have, the easier you'll find it to be accurate and have better aim. Another big thing that I've changed in Warzone to help improve my aim is changing my aim response curve. What this effectively means is it changes how your thumbstick reacts. A standard response curve, for example, which is usually for beginners, will increase your movement speed based on your sensitivity in increments of 10%, for example, depending on how much you move your thumbstick. There's no smooth, constant increase. It'll just go from like 10% to 20% and 30% and so on. That makes it difficult when you're trying to be as accurate and precise as possible with your aim, because it stops you being able to make those subtle changes that might need 13% aim speed, so you can land those headshots or control a particular type of recoil. Which is why you want to make sure that you're using the dynamic response curve type. This effectively gives you the best of both worlds. You'll get that smooth, incremental increase in your aim based on your thumbstick movement, so it's easy to control and not overextend your aim every time like linear does, but there's also room to make those small adjustments to land those headshots. It's described in-game as reverse S-curve mapping for fine aim rate control. Now, when you first start using the dynamic aim response curve, I'll be honest with you, it'll feel a little weird, but after a few hours of using it, you'll see an improvement. Something else to make sure that you're doing in your settings is to change your dead zone to make sure that your thumbsticks are as reactive as possible and allow you to make those small adjustments that you need to, so you can be as accurate as possible at a distance, but without slow turn and stick drift. Also, if you're playing on PC, make sure that you've got scale aim assist with field of view enabled. Otherwise, you're going to lose aim assist at a higher field of view, which will completely throw off your aim. Next, to help improve your aim is something I really want to see you doing and thinking about when playing Warzone, and it's something that I like to call centering, which is all about where and how you place your crosshairs when moving around the map. I like to describe it as that you need to effectively always be aiming at something, even when there's not somebody to aim at. This will help you get a leg up on an opponent, especially if they're pushing you. What you want to do is place your crosshairs on a position that is most likely for an enemy to come from, whether that's the crest of a hill, a doorway, or a window. This means that if an enemy does appear, you can just start shooting straight away without needing to make any adjustments, which will give you an instant advantage in winning a gunfight. Also, you'll find yourself having a lot more map awareness as you start thinking about where players are likely to be. It's something small but will change your entire mental approach to the game, and you're just going to become a better player. Next, something else that you should be doing in Warzone when the opportunity presents itself is to mount your weapon, whether it's on a wall or a ledge, whatever it is, because this turns your gun into a laser beam and you'll be able to take down people at almost any range really quickly before they can even react. Now, you only really want to do it as an opener, as you're an easy target to hit yourself when you're mounted. So before you engage a team, if you have a chance to mount when they're in the open, do it and see your kill count rack up. So my next tip to help you get better aim in Call of Duty Warzone is something I have been doing for years. Like, I do this drill before I ever play a tournament or a competitive match, all the way since like Call of Duty Ghosts. So I hop into a custom game. You can choose any map you want. I've gone ahead and chosen Speedball just because I kind of think it's a good warm-up map. Then you want to go into game setup. The important thing is you are playing free for all. Then you want to go into your game rules, and I kind of set unlimited time. You can give yourself like 5-10 minutes for a warm-up if you really want to. Then score limit, you want to set down to 0, unlimited as well. Then you go over to player, and this is very important if you're warming up for Warzone, is I set the max health to 250 so that everyone is effectively got the same amount of health as someone that is fully plated in Warzone. I think that's a really important thing to do. Then I head over to team and then go to radar always on. I set that to constant. You don't need to be looking for people. It's all about just kind of warming your shot up and making sure that you can find enemy players easily and just snap onto them and get your aim on point. Then in gameplay as well, you don't really need to do anything. Then you go back, then you go to bot setup. I just stick the max bots on, then you can change the difficulty whatever you want. For this case, I'm just going to go for regular bots, and then I go into the game and warm up. So as you can see with this demo, it's all about just snapping onto your opponents, getting your aim confident, keeping an eye on your minimap. Also, it's a great opportunity to try different ways of approaching gunfights, like going into a jump shot. It's also always very, very hectic. You're going to die a lot, but it will teach you just to be able to deal with these kind of situations. As you can see, I just kind of will practice going into drop shots, jump shots, little flick to the minimap, and then I'll just do this for like 10-15 minutes before I start playing, and then by the end of it, I'm really happy with how my aim is, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick some wins up in Call of Duty Warzone. But there we have it. That was a load of tips to help you improve your aim in Warzone. I hope you found them useful. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you've got any yourself, please do share them. Let's help each other out. I'm always looking to improve my game. But I will see you next time for another Call of Duty Warzone video.